starting relatively soon. This is a match for their tournament life, 3-2 on both of them, JohnRossums and recitador. It's kind of funny because they've said relatively the same thing on both sides. I'm wondering if this is going to play out where they both play relatively similarly, or if their play style is different, where one likes to play a lot, gamble a lot more than the other. But we'll have to see how that goes as they pick up a piece of heart in the first chest and make their way towards poor lonely uncle and the who fell down the well.
Yeah, and getting back to that, they actually do have varying experience. I think JohnRossums has a little bit of NMG under his belt, whereas recitador really likes the entry to sanity high rate, and we have a Cane of Burna start. That is my favorite start. Hello.
That is my least favorite start.
Yeah, you have to be technical with it, but and there's some bombs, so no need to worry about grinding. Recitador gets one anyway. Or no, it's recitador. But yeah, I like Cane of Burna.
It's kind of one of those things where it really doesn't open up anything except for maybe Spike Cave. But man, it's just hammer. You can just plow these enemies so quickly. Bow is so powerful. Bombs, you don't have to worry about the random drop. Burna's just like, you just walk into them a bit. It's kind of like a star power up, really.
I will say this much: I don't necessarily like it as a starting weapon, but I do like it for when you get to blind. Just hug them to death.
That's true, and that's one of those things where if all you have is the hammer and you get to blind, it's going to be a bit painful. And the map from the first blue card, yeah, that means that every chest after that's going to be useful, I think. No, I'm saying that wrong.
Well, it's vanilla for one thing, and second off, we don't know where that small key is. It could be in one of these early chests.
I need to keep a close look at JohnRossums' inputs. JohnRossum was the one who had the NMG experience, right?
Yes, I believe so.
Oh goodness, he's running out of magic pretty quickly. You have to resort to bomb strats really soon, and yeah, he's out of magic.
Yes, there are stages in play that allow you to restore your magic through a save and quit, but Rossums probably doesn't want to do that until he at least gets to Zelda and has that checkpoint for progress. And recitador doesn't have any NMG experience that I read, but he absolutely loves playing the entrance key sanity crossworld stuff.
So maybe one of the things where JohnRossums has more regular experience, but recitador is kind of used to more of the weird paths and turns that Rando forces you to take. So I kind of feel like just there, JohnRossums was trying to be really efficient with his Burna use, and wound up taking that initial heavy magic usage and wound up running out really quickly because recitador just kind of popped it and used it.
Now JohnRossums is not screwed over just yet. There are a bunch of small magic pots underneath some of the jars on the way to the final enemy they have to kill, which is the rat.
And he has also 2 bombs, so if he gets the bomb on the first rat, then no harm, no foul. He's got options.
I would get the magic, in all honesty. Why waste a precious bomb on it?
And bombs are definitely precious at this stage of the game. Recitador making good time on his way out. But JohnRossums is making good use of the air pumping techniques such as that, which may be his energy experience coming into play.
Yeah. Something else to point out is JohnRossums actually may not be familiar with the game because you don't actually get that in NMG at all.
That's definitely true. And that's kind of one of the things I was thinking of when I was talking about the difference between an NMG runner, any percent runner, versus someone who's played a lot of rando, and you get used to, doing dumb stuff like, cape dash strats on Vitreous and other things of that nature. Kind of funny. Chat's mentioning, hey, John Ross, Bob Ross, the same thing. I think I can go with that.
Nice snake room for John there, and there is the small key. I didn't quite see what Zelda had. Did you?
No, I don't think I was. I think it was just blabbering on this entire time. But I think they're both making a relatively good time though for having a burn to start. Burn to definitely increase the amount of time you have to spend on each enemy. Very nice for Recitador.
Clean rat kill. Gets another bomb for John, and has enough magic here to try to do the Verna kill.
Makes it really easy for him.
Yeah, the rat almost got away. That was one of the worst paths they could have taken.
Ooh, silvers.
Oh! Well, that's interesting. We don't have a bow to fire them yet, but always good to have. And when I say worst pattern, the rat can move randomly in that room. The best place it can be is right next to the torch when you walk over there. That way you don't have to go chasing it up that little side path. That little dead end.
All right, so they didn't really get a lot in Escape. Recitador making it out in about 628.
Well, the
but after this, it looks like it's a magic boomerang, and he's going to wander over to the standard Kakariko play with a decent amount of bombs. It looks like. After that, I have no idea where they're going to go.
Well, sooner or later we're going to get a map check, and we'll have an idea what our pendants and crystals are. But in the meantime, looks like they're going to head up to Aga. There's our map check. 3, 4 at Desert and Eastern. Hera is its vanilla red pendant.
Very nice. Of course, with the pendants in V29, they keep winding up being really, really full of value for some reason. Recitador opting to do the lumberjack check immediately, while JohnRossums going for Lost Woods. What is on the tree? Let us see. More arrows.
And in lumberjack was just 20 rupees, so Aghatim's not required for that. And well, they're gonna get their wish. Early lamp.
They're gonna have a good time then. The seed. It's just a question of who's gonna have a better time.
That's a blessing and a curse at the same time, though. Because if the lamp is early, that's just one of the 3 pieces you need to go to up to Aghatim.
That's definitely true, yeah.
The other 2 being at least 1 sword and then a 2nd sword or the cape. And of course the Moon Pearl. But for all we know, Moon Pearl could be on Pyramid. I've yet to see that in this tournament. I would like to see it.
I wish a bunch of horrible things, but that's just because I'm a horrible person, I think. Things like Moon Pearl on pedestal, but it's fun to think about. Never fun to play. But let's see what's in Blind's Hut. JohnRossums making good time.
Did you release 10 bombs?
Nice.
10 arrows? And a heart container.
Sometimes Blind's Hut is very, very hype, and this time it's really, really not.
I don't know. The heart container would be helpful.
Well, yeah, it's helpful, but it's not hype. That's the thing.
I was watching a NMG race earlier in which the Sank Heart actually saved a runner in 2 different occasions by being at 1 heart container left. So they can help.
Yeah, but we're hoping for things like, Hammer, Mitts, Quake. Well, no, that's not what we hope for. But they get it anyway.
Quake is actually an okay medallion. It can actually be used in Ice House quite effectively to kill the Pengators if you don't have the hook shot.
It's kind of interesting to me that there's Fighter's Sword from Bottle Vendor, but just the lack of items in Well and Blind's Hut leads you to believe that this might be an Agaseed. there's so much less items you need that to get you to Aga. There's so much more you need to skip him. It feels like that. Well, there's
Oh,
gloves.
yeah, there's gloves, so hammer could be our Darkhold access. I'll have to find it, though.
Still need that pearl though.
And here in the back of the bar, we have 3 bombs.
A lot of bombs this seed.
Yeah. They're doing pretty okay on supplies.
Not so much on hearts, however. They're still at 4, escaping out of Kakariko. Well, let's take a look and see what the library is. I didn't even see it.
Piece of heart.
Okay. Now, at what point do you think that their routes might diverge, or do you think it's going to be pretty lockstep the rest of the way?
Well, what they have now, and judging by the amount of rupees they have, it's either South Shore or Eastern at this point.
I think South Shore's. Oh, nice. He gets the blue
Right.
mail, but I think South Shore is the key play here, because Eastern's always feels like a gamble. You don't have bow, you want to go there once and just knock it out of the way.
Well, they're guaranteed at least 2 items if they go to Eastern. Plus the 3 at Sarasala, and they'll get information on Green Pendant if they so choose from Sarasala.
Then again, Agana has pretty much always had progression of some sorts. Ice Rod Cave, a lot of value, plus the 5 mini Moldworm Cave, plus the 2 in what's that called anyway? The well? I can never remember.
What, the
The
place
swamp? Yeah.
John? Oh, we call that the dam.
The dam, that's right. Well, darn.
Because, well, there's the bomb booster. And Recitador is not going to deny himself looking nice and cyan with that blue Luigi sprite.
Hey, with 4 hearts, I do not blame him in the least. It can be scary, going into an early
boy.
blind with only 4 hearts and oh, shovel. Here's the beginning of the fetch quest items.
Now, Shovel is actually okay in this. Because in the randomizer, we actually have put shovel prices in the pool.
Mm-hmm. And, but honestly, if it were me, I'd sorely be tempted to immediately after getting that, walk towards the shovel spot and go back down and see what Agina has. But maybe I'm just weird like that. How do you think you do that?
Alright, so here we go, the Molder fight. Really clutch there from John. Could have died there.
There's the Master Sword. That looming specter of Aghanim 1 coming through, haunting us. But where is the Moon Pearl? That is the million-dollar question.
That is a good question indeed.
I'm wondering if one of them will make the gamble and just bite the bullet, go for Aghanim 1, or if it looks like John is going to set the fake flipper glitch and just go check. I guess Hobo check the Lake Hylia Island. Other than that, though, there's not a lot that he can check. He doesn't have the money for Zora. Oh boy. Then again, I don't blame him. Who wants to do Aghanim 1? No one really.
Yeah,
I definitely am not. I'm definitely not looking forward to prospects of Moon Pearl on Pyramid. However,
yeah, I need to step away for a moment here. Hang on.
okay. Not sure if it's say the seed that's causing cause. Oh, the big 20 on Hobo. Not a good state of affairs. Hopefully, Ice Rod Cave has something, but let's see if Recitador goes for that play or if he decides to check for buried treasure. Okay, looks like he's going for Ice Rod Cave, whereas John is going to head over to East Palace. Agana cannot ignore Agana in this seed in this version. Either way, it's going to be a good time. Fingers crossed. Hope it's something good. And it doesn't look like it. No, Ice Palace is green pendant. Okay. Oh, the flips and the mirror. Oh, that is very useful. At the very least, John's got to be having to do the fake flipper and then immediately getting the flippers right after. But let's see, Recitador is by opting not to go with the fake flippers, he's gonna gain some time on him. Recitador's done an additional check by doing that lumberjack, but in terms of both their routing is pretty dang similar so far. Yeah, raiding old man's claws is definitely looks like it's paying out at this rate.
Oh, indeed! Wow.
Oh yeah, they got the mirror and the flippers, and boy, it is. It's looking a lot nicer. Aghanim is still in his head, but definitely a lot more open towards the possibility of not having to visit the old wizard.
Yeah, so what was that ice rod cave? I completely missed it if they got checked.
I kind of missed it too, but I don't think it was anything. I'm getting used to watching two different races at once, you know. I'm a man with 30 screens and only 2 eyes. I can only keep track of some. Oh, okay, here we go. Our hopes are realized. We have Titan's Mitts in Eastern Palace. And all they're looking for is Moon Pearl. But yeah, Aghanim 1 is officially out of the running.
Not yet.
Not yet, you say? Yeah, true, yeah. Pyramid, maybe.
Moon Pearl and Pyramid. Until they find the Moon Pearl, Aga is on life support.
It is relatively an early Titan zone. Titans plus flippers. It makes me think that, oh boy, maybe it sounds like an early Ice Palace trip or something, which that could be scary.
Yeah. So there's Recitador with their gloves and Piece of Heart.
Oh, that's 2 out of 3 items so far.
Yes, I think so. So either this item is here in the big key chest or it's on Armos Knights.
And they will be able to see that for quite a while until they get the bow. But hey, here's hoping that the third item is right here and it's bow. No, it's just nice and easy. Just so convenient. One of those things that everyone hopes for, but probably not likely to get. But a man can dream. And my dreams are crushed.
Yep, it is Compass, which means Armos has our item.
Alright, so where is John going now? He has the mitts. I guess he's going straight up Death Mountain. He has the mirrors, which is a good play. So he's going to go check all of Tower of Hera. It is a pendant, so yeah, there's some schools of thought that it's like, yeah, it's a pendant. It doesn't really matter if you dip it. Or there's some people think, well, if you dip, you might as well do a crystal so you get some progression in there. But this is, I think it's the smart play by John. And Recitador is kind of finishing up his Eastern Palace journey, and I'm going to see, it'll be interesting to see where he goes from there.
Yeah, and I completely agree with the Hera play. Not necessarily because we should check our pendant dungeons, but more so because of the old man getting that respawn point active as soon as possible. Allows him to get up the mountain a little bit better in the future runs. But yeah, at this point, we'll check the Hera. May not have anything good in it, but just cover your bases at this point. We might have a Vanilla Moon Pro for all we know.
I would definitely have been tempted to check Zora Ledge and Waterfall, Wishing Waterfall, even though I don't have enough money to get it just yet. But I can definitely understand the Tower of Hera play here. I do not blame them by any means. And Recitador picking up some extra money, which is smart. Oh, what's that?
With the Hoarder Crab giving you a big 20, it's fairly easy to grind for Zora money, so Zora might actually be on the table. Oh!
Oh yeah, I like that tempered.
3 swords early? Okay. If we didn't go to Eastern right away, this seed was screaming Aghanim. And there is our map check. We do have Pendant Ice.
Yeah, I believe one of the runners checked Sahasrara, so they already knew that, but I believe it was Red Crystal on Mire and Turtle Rock. Either way, I would not. I'd still kind of keep in the back of my mind, hey, maybe Ice Palace would be a good idea.
And the other pendant was in Thieves Town, according to the chat. Thank you for catching that for us. So, I'm hoping we see the Fire Run now. And Samaria.
That wouldn't be too nice to him. We gotta drag this out for another hour and a half or so. We gotta get the value out of this.
Well, I'll get to my reasonings a little bit later. And successful coffee break for John. And sure enough, it is Mire and Turtle Rock as our Bat Fairy Crystals.
Some 1 hour seed, not likely, but hey, we can always dream. And I do not wish terrible times on the runners. I swear I don't. But hey, maybe we want to spend this time with you guys, just having a good time. Maybe we just want to just chat, have a nice time. And oh, there is all that magic that John wanted earlier on in Escape. And we are still waiting on that second item from Tower of Hera.
Yeah. So we had the heart container in the first place, so it's gonna be somewhere upstairs. Now, the question I want to ask you is, what do you think we're gonna get?
I would say Moon Pearl, just because you're kind of like naturally expected to segue into Dark World at this point. At the same time, I'm kind of half thinking that, wondering if John is going to keep on doing gonna kill Moldorm, or if he's just gonna leave immediately. And if Recitador does the same thing, if this winds up being a pedestal seed, that might be pretty bad.
Well, pedestal is actually a fairly high chance.
Oh yeah, a lot of pendants really early at this point.
Well, the only item that can't be a pedestal. There's our other item.
Big 20, sadly.
Yeah. The only things that can't be at pedestal is the hammer. And depending on what we need to get into Ice Palace, it could be Fire Rod or Bombos, with the other one being how you get through the dungeon.
What if it winds up being Hookshot?
Oh, and all the other items as well. The only items right. I was saying what can't be there.
Oh, I see. But yeah, John goes ahead and clears out Moldorm. A good choice, I think. Just in case. And it's right there. You might as well. You have Tempered. You might as well. Where does he go from here? He does have the flippers, so there's a lot of things he could check.
I absolutely would go to the Zora's Domain region.
Would you farm it first? That's the next question.
I don't think John has checked the bushcrats, but that would be an excellent place to grind.
It's actually funny to me because I'm watching them, and they are pretty much in lockstep, except for now, where Recitador, chooses not to go for. Oh, Houlihan, John Rossum saying it for a Houlihan, but Recitador skips doing Moldorm, and John just decides to farm up by doing Houlihan, which is a smart play.
Yeah, I completely forgot about Houlihan. With the flippers, this is the only way you can get in unless you do a very elaborate setup. And brief shoutouts to AG&M for being the tournament winners. And while we're at shoutouts, let's make sure to give a shout out to Climbing Coder, who is our tracker for this race, doing an excellent job thus far.
Oh, he's finally getting the shovel spot, and it was a big 20. I'm just I'm sad, but I'm pretty sure we'll have some interesting stuff happening with this brief sojourn to Zora's domain in the waterfall. Oh, but John Rossums didn't check the ice shot, so he will make that check first. It's really hard telling who's made the better play so far, since there's a lot we do not know.
Yeah, I can only assume that it's Zora.
It's got to be somewhere in Zora.
If it's not Zora, then it's the one-off check in Agnes.
That is true. They definitely did not have that, and that is what Recitador is going for next.
Makes sense, because then he can walk over and double back to grind in the cave nearby. So one way or the other, we will get our answer if this is an Aghanim seed. And right now, the only way this is Aghanim is if Moon Pearl is blocked by Aghanim.
Not really likely at this point, but depending on how you look at it, the dream is still alive.
Alright.
Big money, though.
It's a Zora domain play. Now, where in Zora's domain will this Moon Pearl be, or will it just be complete dud? And this is actually Aghanim. Let's find out. 10 arrows. Moon Pearl there. Had to find the flippers.
Yep. And now where do we go from here? There's definitely you can't do Ice Palace. There's not a lot that. I guess Thieves Town is really the biggest play you can do here, because that's the only place you can get at with Titans.
Yeah. They really have the entirety of the Dark World at their disposal here. We'll see what Catfish gives us, though. Ledge only having a bomb booster. And we haven't seen Hobo either, have we?
We have seen Hobo. John Rossums had fake flippered to him and found just a big 20.
Alright. But Zora decided to be just a jerk, only giving you taking 200 of your rupees away.
Hey kid, I got a deal for you. I'm actually expecting this to be the sort of seed where, without Hammer, you have to walk. You just have to skip Thieves Town, walk down around the south, take the south. Actually, no, he could take a lot of things along the north route too. But just make your way towards the east side and check Pyramid, check Catfish that way too.
I would personally check Thieves Town and leave those for later. In part because you're right here, you might as well. And with the Titan's Mint as well as the mirror, you can also do the blacksmith loop.
That's definitely true. Yeah, having the mitts and the mirror makes that so much easier. And while you're there, you can also check Hive Cave at the end of it, and you can even go around with the flippers in that area too. So there's a lot more rich options along the South Dark World tour.
Yeah, one of the key things about routing the randomizer is compounding your checks to be as efficient as possible. And right now, Smith's Loop seems to be the best way to, at this point, to make that happen. All right, Skull Woods, our first chest has 50 rupees. Only one other item left in here. Let's hope it's here and John can leave. Nope, small key.
It's actually kind of nice the small key is there because he can leave immediately. Somebody's going to check that one chest in the back, which can take quite a bit if you don't have the Cave Samaria.
And yes, folks. Go on.
Go ahead. Nah, go ahead.
Just want to clear something up here, folks. Aga is 100% dead. They can get to East Darkworld just by swimming, so do not need the hammer for that. They will need the hammer if it turns out. Oh no, you can't have the hammer for Fat Fairy anyway. So yeah, Aga is completely dead.
Yeah, Fat Fairy's locked behind Turtle Rock and Myers, so.
Which in turn is also hammer locked, and that's the only reason that you would kill Aga is because you need to get the big bomb across somehow.
Yes.
But you need the hammer for that. But that's because you need the hammer to get around using his portal. But again, because Turtle Rock requires the hammer, so you can even get to Fair in the first place, it just causes an infinite loop of a contradiction, and thus it's impossible.
It's unfortunate that the second chest in Skullwoods was nothing really important. So John's going to make his way out, and it'll be interesting to see where he goes from here. It looks like he's heading to check the Bumper Cave and the Northern Tour. So we'll see what happens with that. I was kind of like mildly, just speculating, and there's nothing from Bumper Cave.
Yeah, nothing from Bumper Cave there. Just a stash of rubies. I couldn't tell if it was 100 or 300 though.
And it looks like he's making his way back to Town of Outcasts. So again, these players seem to me remarkably similar. So it's really it's actually kind of entertaining that way. And, unintentionally similar.
I mean, they had the same favorite item. They have the same favorite, or same least favorite items.
Yeah, it's just one's an NMG runner, and the other likes running different random modes. And they have slightly different names, but that's neither here nor there.
Alright, so let's see what our chess game is. 30 rupees for a single heart and a piece of heart.
It's a wash, but at the same time, he was really low on hearts, so I'd probably be like, at least I got a heart out of it. And then he walked to the bomb accidentally. Ooh. I've done that a number of times, and I hated every single time, but he got a piece of heart and filled up, so that's got to be nice.
Yeah, now the question is do you dip Independent Thieves down? If it were me, I'd go in there for the first 4 chests at the very least, just poke around, and if there's nothing good there, I'll leave. If I don't get, like, 3 of the items right away.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Yeah, it's a really quick check. It was very common in previous seeds, from what I understand, but it always feels like nowadays, if you go in there, you go into cleared because back always seems to have something, and I've been burned so many times by the back of Thieves of Thieves Town having something. But getting a big 20 from Dig Game, nothing that exciting. John's making his way back up to do the blacksmith route. Recitador, checking, seeing there's only 300 rupees on Bumper Cave, and I would guess no, it looks like he's gonna go possibly check the Graveyard Cliff Cave.
Yeah, Graveyard Ledge is on his mind. Makes sense. He has the mirror. Just get it done while you're in the area.
And it's one of those out of the way places that if it does have progression, you'd hate it. You'd just be kicking yourself if it had something.
And also, kind of a smart routing here for Recitador as well, because Recitador can then proceed further east in the Dark World and go visit Catfish.
And they already have the Titan's gloves, so they don't need to mirror into King's Grave once they finally get the dash boots. So yeah, it doesn't orphan as much spots as you normally would think. So I can agree with this play as well. It's kind of nice to see them back. I was saying, yeah, they're so similar, and then they actually finally were doing some different routes. But it looks like he's going back to Town of Outcasts, and I don't blame him for doing that either. It's a lot of good options at this point.
All right, Case off a Grove. What do we got here? Just some bombs. Nothing going on. Let's move on.
Lots of bombs.
Looks like Recitador is doubling back, going to end up doing the Smith Loop as well. Hasn't paid out too much thus far. We'll see if Stumpy gets us something instead. And then maybe we'll see Hype Cave. Nope, nothing good.
There's nothing in a Hype Cave, and at this point, you only have Pedestal, Catfish, or a quick dip into, well, either Swamp or Eastern Palace. And Swamp, that's only that one chest, so you don't want to do that.
Yeah, I've had that chest be the hammer though. Just been super rude.
And that is one of the rudest places for Hammer to be. I would not want to be them if that was the case. Alright, Recitador's finishing up his Town of Outcast checks, where we're going to see what Gary's lunchbox has. And is it something good? It's more hearts.
I mean, that's always nice to have.
Lots of stuff nice to have, but at this point we're hoping for something good. Something good, like Hammer or Hookshot or something.
Let's see what Recitador finds here in Thieves Town, deciding to do the dip in the first 4 chests at the very least. And the first chest, just a piece of heart. Meanwhile, we have JohnRossums gonna go check Hype Cave, so get your hype, maybe. Is it gonna live up to its former name or its current reputation? Let's find out here as Recitador finds the Fire Rod!
Very nice. It puts Skullwoods back on the table and kind of possibly makes him feel like, boy, I wish I did this before I went up to Skullwoods.
Oh,
but Bombos.
Bombos! In the Hype Cave, so... Alright. Now, without a doubt, the pedestal has to be on both runners' minds. Because now we have everything we need to take him out.
That's definitely true. And Ice Cave is there. Yeah, sure. It's a little scary, but then again, you have Blue Mail. You have 11 hearts on John's side.
No, wait. I stand corrected. I almost forgot. We need the hammer to do Ice Palace.
Oh, I totally forgot about that too.
I almost forgot about that myself.
Let's just ignore that. Let's just assume that hammer's not needed. We're both happier that way.
No. It's you can't ignore the hammer, unfortunately. It has to be dropped at least these 5 times in the run, maybe more. No, definitely more. What am I saying?
Recitador going for the full Thieves Town experience, and hey, there's always something good in the back. I swear. They don't have hammer, so they can't get that big chest, but there may not always be something in that big chest. But John is going for the Palace of Darkness play.
Yep, paying everyone's favorite extortionist, Kiki the Monkey.
I'm kind of thinking Recitador is going to go up towards Skullwoods after Thieves Town and just knock that out as well.
Now, Thieves Town is required as a result of finding that Fire Rod. Because we need it for Moth, and we also need it for Turtle Rock event later when we go fight Trinex.
Especially with this seed, a lot of bends do not feel afraid to dip Independence. I say that, but I've made that. I've been guilty of not doing that.
All right. So the logic here, it depends on where the keys are, but if John does not find a key in the next couple of chests, all right, there's the second one. He needs to find, I think, one more key for this to be considered not a bone lock situation. Although I could be wrong.
I'm always fuzzy on those details myself. I want to just going for it, like, if I'm bow locked, I'm bow locked. But oh, we got the book in the back, which if he's going to Skullwoods, it's gonna tell him what exactly is on pedestal. So the dream remains alive.
And Recitador is mirroring out. And John
these ones,
has a small key, so the back of pod is on the table, so our bow could be deep in there.
did he mirror out immediately after book, or did he at least take blind back?
No. Did not take blind back.
Oh goodness! I hope for his sake it is not a pedestal seed then, because that'd be quite unfortunate for him.
Well, what Recitador can do is fight the moth, has the means to do so, and then mirror and check pedestal.
That is the one thing that he does have going for him. And here is Pegasus Boots for JohnRossums. Very nice. He has got to be happy about that.
Yeah, that speed boost is going to help him considerably in this seed. And there's the big key as well. And with no keys, this is bow locked. But you're going to see a classic NMG trick.
He's going for the hammer jump, yeah.
And
oh, very nice. He gets the butter sword, and he gets it on his first try. It's a very nice trick, and I definitely don't know how they can do it with using the shadows. I tried using the sword, and it never quite works out. But very nice play on JohnRossums. I can't help but wonder where he goes from here. He has the Pegasus Boots, so he has, he has the Bonk Rocks. He has King's Tomb open. Where does he go next?
well, I would say he goes to Sick Kick because he just found a bottle. Now, if that's our intended first bottle of the seed, then Sick Kick cannot lead to the bow.
Correct. As you wouldn't have been able to find that.
However, if a bottle later would have led you to the bow through Sick Kid, then this is a nice sequence break.
Well, there's an arrow. Not
One
quite
arrow?
the bow. I'm surprised he doesn't check King's Grave, though. King's Tomb. I'm just going to use a bunch of different words for it, and they're probably not all going to be correct whatsoever.
Yeah, I'm kind of interested why King's Tomb was not checked either. Let's hope that that doesn't come to bite John in the keister here later on.
I guess he's going to try and pair it up with the Graveyard Ledge check.
Oh, there's our 100.
And there's the Sick Kid check.
There's Bombos for Recitador. Sick Kid, what do you have? Just some money. So that bottle is not anything major.
It's nothing major, but just a little peace of mind for them. And John is making the play into Thieves Town. He is hopefully going to find the Fire Rod. Don't know if he's going to leave after that, but he's definitely going to be happy he took the time to take the dip.
And Recitador actually will have a small edge here. That was Sankart in that purple chest. We
You
didn't
only
know
get
that.
one.
Yep, we didn't know that before because JohnRossums was at full health. But Recitador will be checking the Bombos tablet here.
That's true. He definitely gets that out of the way and gets to pair that up nicely with the purple chest.
And inside Almost tablet is the hammer!
Very nice for recitador. So where does he go with this immediately? That's the question. I do not know.
If the hammer leads into pod, then this would be huge.
He does not have the bow though, and it's bow lock.
True.
He could go up Death Mountain and do east side of Death Mountain and Dark World. East side Death World, Dark Mountain. Yeah, I said that.
And you know what Josh should be crossing Recitador's head? Forgot pedestal is now back on the table.
Oh goodness.
We don't know what's there yet. We have the book. We can check.
But the Recitador who had the fire rod, decided to go south, which paid out quite handsomely for him. But we'll see what John does with that. Did John get to do the pyramid check, or did he just go straight for Palace of Dark?
That's why Recitador left. The last two items in Thieves Town were both the map and compass, so didn't have to fight blind for anything.
All right, yeah, Recitador's making the play towards Catfish.
Makes sense. Get that check and done out of the way.
They already did the Light World side of it, so unfortunately, you can't pair it up with that. But hey, better late than never.
And something I saw a runner do relatively recently, actually, is mirror and then take the portal near over here in the Light World, and then head straight into Ice Palace. So we might see that from Recitador, but again, I might be telling false truths here. We'll see.
Honestly, at this point, I would rather, go to Skullwoods myself, just because the longer you can put off. Oh, there's the bow. Okay, that opens a lot.
Okay, never
really.
mind.
Immediately pod.
Immediately pod. Get those boots. Recitador has to be feeling like on top of the world right now.
Oh, and he's going to be feeling even more on top of the world once he gets those Pegasus boots from Palace of Darkness. I just wonder if he does Eastern Palace first or Palace of Darkness, because both of them are on the table and crystals and needed.
Okay, let's rewind a few steps here. We are now 4 items away from go mode. The hookshot, the ice rod, the flute, and Samaria. The only items that can be there with a certain guarantee are the ice rod and the flute. And I say that because hookshot can be required in Myers' logic, as can Cadence Samaria if Coldster is holding a small key.
I just hope that both Meyer and Turtle Rock aren't Ether, and Ether is on pedestal or something like that.
Oh, I completely forgot about that too.
Yeah, we don't know what they are because we haven't been able to get up to Death World, Dark Mountain, and see what Turtle Rock is. Don't have the flute, so we don't see what Meyer is. There's just still a lot we don't know.
I'm sorry, wait. Death World Dark Mountain?
Oh yes, I said that. I said that, and I will take ownership of that.
Okay, sure. And we're seeing Skullwoods being cleared by John. So we will get our pedestal check here in just a little bit.
Oh, this is a seed that keeps on giving, I think. It has a nice balance of everything so far.
Now, this is the situation here. None of our runners are on board with a crystal yet.
You're right. Holy cow! I didn't even realize it. It's 50 minutes in. There's no crystal. But man, once they finally get the things in place, the crystals are just going to start just falling from the sky like rain, which I guess they do in the game anyway. But
we're about to get our first crystal here in just a little bit with the moth.
oh, Butter Sword, you're too good for Moth, so they had to make you into Tempered Sword. But that's just for Moth.
Yeah. And 50 minutes in, there's our first crystal. Now, are we going to see the pet check here, folks? Because if it's
He has to.
Because if it's a required item at pedestal, John is suddenly in the lead. Not by items, but by dungeon progress. Having cleared 2 of the pendant dungeons.
Oh, moment of truth. Now you can store potions and stuff.
It's a bottle!
Well, maybe Bo's behind bottle.
No, it's not! He already checked it, so Pet is dead.
Oh, rest in peace, Pedestal. Rest in peace.
Alright, so John still has a slight lead in terms of dungeon progress, but Recitador has most of the items needed for go mode at this point. And we'll be getting the boots later on.
Yeah, it's John needs to check the Bombos tablet. He needs to go check Catfish. Those are both out of the way places, and the Bombos tablet is kind of orphaned at this point. When he finally makes the lumberjack check, which Recitador had already done at the beginning of the game. Recitador making some good progress here.
And John double checking. Yeah, I actually might have been his first check, but now knows that this is not a pet seed. This is not an agate seed. This is just a normal seed, or at least normal in terms of getting the goal done. So he knows he's wasted a few minutes killing those bosses. Does he feel bad about it? Probably not.
You can't be too careful with some of these seeds.
Yeah, that is an absolutely fair assessment. And Recitador, oh, well, gonna be about another 30 seconds, but will eventually get their boots. It's in that turtle chest.
You had to get the big key first. But it's fortunate for Recitador that they opted to go for Pod first. And he gets to have his nice shiny Pegasus boots.
Yeah, Pod Eastern is the play here for Recitador. Hands down. After that, swing over, get Moth defeated. Can actually go and do Desert Palace as well. But ideally want to save it for a double dip with Meyer. Or a double play with Meyer, but without the flute, that's not a possibility.
Then again, Book already led to progression, so I wouldn't be looking too closely on whether or not, Book is the next thing in progression. But then again, maybe that item's on the torch. Maybe it's the boots which will be the next piece of progression. Okay, John is making his way towards Catfish. He's going to be pretty happy to see the bow, but there's not a lot he's going to be able to do with it other than finish up Armos.
And we know that Armos has the third item. So maybe Bo leads to progression.
Well, they're definitely progressing in the sense that they're getting crystals. So, either way you look at it. And a string attached to a piece, a stick. So John is pretty happy, but not as happy as Recitador at this point in time.
Yeah. Both runners are feeling pretty good right now, most likely. The question is, though, where is one of them going to go next?
It has to be. It has to be Dark Mountain, Death World. I'm gonna keep saying it, and I'm gonna keep getting it wrong, intentionally and unintentionally. Oh, John is actually going for the desert, which is interesting.
Yeah, desert is a very interesting play.
And Agana.
Yeah, and running right past Bombos. And for those of you just tuning in, that's where our hammer was.
Oh goodness. So many bomb drops for Recitador. And he just walks by. I don't need those bombs. Those bombs are beneath me. I have bombos.
Yeah, bombs are not too necessary when you have bombos.
Can you do a bombos jump?
No.
Oh gosh, it's a hook shot. It's a hook shot on desert ledge. It's gonna bite Recitador because he did not do the desert ledge check when he went up to check Agonot first. So John getting an unexpected boon right there.
Yeah. Now, I assume Recitador will head over there eventually, cleaning up all of the remaining checks. But if Blute is here, then we just have to figure out where the heck that Ice Rod and King Samaria are.
You never want to be in a seed where you're wondering where the heck the Ice Rod is. You never. But now that he has a hook shot, that Death Mountain's got to be looking a lot more attractive. Meanwhile, Recitador is finished off Palace of Darkness rather handily and making his way to finish off Armos with his shiny silver arrows.
Alright, there's a small key that had to be there for John. Now we'll see if the right side of... Ooh. Okay, interesting routing.
Yeah, he's making the exit here to make the easy mirror exit point. And he saves a lot of time not having to spend time getting out of that cannonball room.
Alright, that makes sense.
Did both John and Recitador make a dip into Eastern Palace already?
Yes, but they both did.
Okay, so they can save a bit of time by just going straight to Igor's, and there's the mushroom. That is the second item. John can get right out of there and grab his hook shot, and might as well kill Land Mollusk while he's there. It took me a while to remember the name.
Yeah, Land Mollusk will be slain here. But the mushroom is fairly interesting. Do you use it, or do you save it?
I'd totally save it, because, man, you already did Catfish, you did everything else up there, and what if you get the flute? Just make it so much easier to hold on to it until you get the flute.
Well, here's the thing. What if you can sequence break for your Go Mode item with the fake powder?
And don't they already... For some reason, I thought they had powder already. No. We were talking about powder and how John didn't want to find it. So yeah, it's definitely possible. I believe you need King of Samari for that, don't you?
Yeah, you need King of Samaria, so it would be like finding flute. But John actually wants to see the powder. It's one of the best NMG safeties you can possibly have.
All right, where does Recitador go next?
I would say go to desert.
That's only because we know it. Oh, very nice arrows on Land Mollusk by John. Very nice.
Yep, easiest 1, 2, 3 for that crystal.
3 shots, 3 kills.
Looks like Recitador is going to be checking. Oh, Kingston. We have not seen this yet, I don't think.
No, John did. I don't believe it was anything. I think it was yep, big 20.
And we see John going up the mountain here.
That is absolutely the correct play, unless it is not. It's not the right play.
So this is an interesting story we have going on right now. We have a recitador who needs the hook shot. We know it's on Desert Ledge. And John needs hammer, but that's on a different Desert Ledge. It's on the Bombo, where the Bombos tablet is.
It's a tale of two ledges, and they both take place in the desert. And so and they're both kind of orphaned for the other two. So it's not likely they're going to go back anytime soon unless they have a sinking suspicion. You know, for John, he already got progression from his book, so it's like, yeah, why go there check the tablet? Recitador, hey, I got progression from the book by getting the hammer, so why does he need to go to desert early when he can just get the flute and just pair it up with that?
Well, there's the cave. That is one of the best safeties to have.
And what is up in here?
Yes, Paradox Cave, or as I've sometimes nicknamed Mountain Height, we have the net. First shield. Ether! So medallions are not necessary. Nothing to work. Medallions,
Ether, yeah!
Medallions are not a concern anymore this seed.
Yeah, very nice for him. So it's all just down to Samaria and him finding a hammer and flute and ice rod.
Yeah, it is Samaria, flute, ice rod, hammer for JohnRossums. Recitador will be picking up that ether eventually, but needs the hook shot instead of the hammer.
Yeah, Recitador has the hammer, so he can definitely, well, I was about to say something dumb, so then I stopped because I realized it was dumb. But I was kind of thinking, oh well, if he finds Samaria, they can actually dip into Turtle Rock, but that's just a second shield from Spiral Cave, and that's actually where Recitador is now.
Yes, folks, Pet is a bottle for those just tuning in. We have had a book check on it.
Yeah, and if they both had each other's items, if Recitador had the hook shot, if John had the hammer, they'd say, hey, we can go do Swamp, we can go do Ice Palace, or actually, no, he can go do Ice Palace anyway. He's just kind of putting it off. I don't blame him.
Oh no, I just realized something. Recitador cannot check hook shot cave.
Oh, that's going to be unfortunate.
If that's something important, then that can give John the lead here.
That's definitely true. On the other hand, if Ice Palace has something, then Recitador has the upper hand. So it's a series of checks and balances here.
Well, hammer only comes into play if you're either going right side or going straight to cold stare. You need it either way, but in a go mode situation, you don't need to worry about the hook shot at all.
I think with judicious use of bomb jumps and such, you honestly really don't need hook shot either.
There is hammer blocks halfway through the right side path. Or hammer blocks. And nothing in Hookshot Cave. So that's a bullet Recitador has dodged without even knowing it.
Yeah, it's a bunch of stress that he doesn't even realize he missed. But where does John go from here?
With the bow, Eastern Pod.
That's definitely true. He does not have... No, he decides not to. Oh, he's going to turn into the mushroom.
This could be good, this could be bad. Let's see.
I feel like you can say that about anything with Rando, but it is the nature of the beast.
I can say that about anything. I can say that regarding Fetch Quest, rather.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So, foregoing the ability to fake powder later on, let's see if this is worth it. This mushroom was in desert, I believe. And it leads to the piece of heart. So, desert you would only go to desert for the hook shot at this point, which means I can't help but think that Swamp has something. Be it the flute or the Cave of Samaria, so that we can explore another dungeon.
Well, it's either Swamp or Ice Palace. They just need to find the other item.
And if I were in Recitador's shoes, I'd probably... Okay, doing Spike Cave. Good heads up knowledge there. Get all of the Dark World done as much as you can in one trip.
Yeah, it's definitely a good idea by him.
And this could have our progression too.
Everywhere could have progression. But yeah, it's I feel like if I was in John's shoes, I'd be feeling a little pressure because the hammer locks a lot of the game, and it's just, man, where is Hammer? Where is Hammer? It's got to be in the back of his head, and it just simply bombs in Spike Cave. Nothing to shout about.
Yeah, we need to find that flute, and the way I see it, flute has to be in Swamp or in Ice.
John's stressing out about Hammer at this point, I'm pretty sure. Whereas Recitador is just maybe putting off Ice Palace as long as he can, or maybe even thinking about doing a dip into Swamp House without the hook shot. Or he's going to Desert.
Going to
Smart
desert.
man.
If he was going to Swamp, he wouldn't have done the transitions the way he did.
Yeah.
So good heads-up play for Recitador. And we'll now get the knowledge of that's where the hookshot is.
Yeah, John Rossums coming out of the Igor room. That's got to be such a nice experience, where you just walk in there, just swipe once, kill both the whatever the thing is, the little wiggly thing.
I like, by the way, the single frustration slash from Recitador there. It's like, oh.
That's where that was. Yeah.
And we seem to have just a little bit of time here as we have our runners doing dungeons that have been completed. So if you like what you're seeing from them, make sure to give them a follow. This team's been pretty good to them thus far. But we'll see if this becomes a really close race later on.
Yeah. Go and check out their Twitch stream sometime. If you like what they see, give them a follow. Give them a follow. They seem like swell people. Share a drink with them once in a while. So, John is done with Eastern Palace. What does he do next? That is what I'm wondering.
John realizes that book is not led anywhere besides that hookshot. Has to check Bombo's tablet.
Did he do Ether tablet?
I don't remember. You could also consider hammer pegs are also on the table. I just remembered.
What's also on the table?
Hammer pegs.
Oh, that's true.
Looks like that is where John is heading.
But John doesn't have the hammer.
Right.
So it's... Man, would it be, a real kick in the pants if you get the book and, oh, hey, the book leads to desert, which leads to hookshot, but the book also leads to Bombo's tablet, which leads to hammer, and the book leads to Ether tablet, which leads to flute?
Flute was...
Cane of Samaria?
Ether tablet was checked by Recitador. I don't remember what was there, but it was not anything that was progression.
Aw, dang.
The Recitador does not have the hookshot. Will most likely finish desert while they are here.
Hey, might as well. It's a crystal. So, definitely the right play.
So, again, the question now comes down to Swamp or Mire? Or, not Mire, Ice. Ugh. I'm getting my dungeons mixed up again.
Yeah, they have something to do with water, and that's they're the same thing, right?
Pretty much, yeah.
So John's making the play to go back in the pod, maybe, or did he remember that he already finished? I'm not sure what he's doing. I'm mystified and intrigued. Is he going for Ice Palace? Oh, I think he's going for Ice Palace.
You might think Ice Palace has the hammer deep within.
Oh goodness.
But if he finds the flute, that could pay out in huge dividends as well.
I feel like the longer he goes without hammer, just the wider, the more an advantage Recitador has. Though, even if he finds the flute in Ice Palace, he still needs to get back to Bombos Tablet. Eventually, just cross off that orphan spot. But hey, he has a better sword, which should make checking Ice Palace pretty easy. All these suspicious green penguins going down in one hit easy.
Yeah. Those are those pain getters I was talking about, which are actually vulnerable to Quake. They all die in one hit to Quake, but with Butter Sword, you can just do spins, and they die instantly too. And Recitador will be checking the mushroom, just making sure that item is not anything important. Someone's asking, how do you not check the tablets? At the time that John did the Smith loop, he did not dip into Thieves Town, which have the book in the Maiden's chest. Recitador did do that, and so when they did the Smith loop, he finished with Bombos Tablet, and that's what gave him Hammer. Yes,
but Recitador had wound up not checking Desert Ledge when he did Agina the first time, which wound up to John getting hookshot first. They both wound up getting something the other wanted. John making his way down Ice Palace pretty smoothly. With 15 hearts and blue mail, Ice Palace feels a lot nicer, a lot smoother. It's actually kind of nice at this point.
And it looks like we're going to see some divergence here, where you're going to see Swamp from Recitador.
I like this play from him. It's a lot of chests, and there's, heck, it's a lot of chests, and yeah, it's a. I was about to say it's a green pendant, but it's not. It's completely wrong. It's a crystal. You can totally clear it.
Now, we do have the Fire Rod now, and we do have a required Mire, so we'll see if there's anything interesting going to be happening a little bit later. For those not in the know, I may be hinting at some new tech that was discovered. But we'll talk about it when it becomes relevant.
They definitely do have all the ingredients for it, but we'll see as Restore makes his way into the watery abyss. And John continues his trek upward through locked doors. It's actually kind of funny. John was pulling a chest in frustration because he was pretty sure the chest was going to have something after he did a bomb jump to get back to it. Only had some rupees, I think.
Well, there's the riot shield, as we like to call it. I don't like that shield at all. Fire is enough for me. I don't want this giant, bulky piece of bad luck rocking around.
You call it bad luck? Has it given you bad luck before?
Well, if it shatters.
If it shatters.
It's a mirror.
Nah. Nah, the worst that can happen to it is if it gets swallowed by a picket, so...
Mirror Shield actually cannot be eaten by a picket.
Huh.
Because it is unique in that it cannot be purchased.
Fair enough. At that point, I'd never gotten my shield eaten, so I never had, thankfully, wound up, experiencing that. John coming up with a couple chests. Hopefully, it is something good for him. Small keys are good for him. Is he not going to check the upper chest? I'm curious about that. Oh, he doesn't have the
can't.
hammer, so he can't.
Yeah, that's what I was getting at. He cannot finish ice.
So where does he go from here?
And
Spike
because
no, he can't do spike key if he doesn't have the hammer.
and we did not see any progression in Ice Palace, so it must be here in Swamp. Unless it's an ice and hammer blocked.
I would not be surprised if it's ice and hammer block, to be honest. Samari in one, Flute in the other.
Now, Bombos might be coming back to bite John purely also from his NMG experience, because that's the one and only medallion tablet you don't visit. Ever.
But he does have tablets on the mind as he is going towards the ether tablet. And once he finishes checking that, he's got to think, okay, it's not this one. It's got to be the other one, because I'm already rich enough. I don't need 20 more rupees.
Yeah, we see Recitador is doing a full clear here, not leaving any stone unturned.
You do not want to be the guy who, left Samar in the left side of Swamp, which has happened a couple times. It is disheartening when that happens. Oh, he doesn't have the hammer, so he has to enter Dark World through Kakarika Village. But I'm guessing he goes to Vamos now. It is unfortunately so far out of the way, though, for him.
Yeah, that Bombos tablet is going to be quite a distance away. Meanwhile, Recitador finds a piece of heart and is hookshotting over to the big key chest. And someone is asking where his hammer. Bombos tablet. And wow, vanilla big key.
John is going to Bombos tablet. This is the only way he can get to it. Without hammer, he can't enter the Dark World through the portal south of Link's house. So the only way he can do it is through the portal like Kakariko, which is very unfortunate for him.
Yeah, it's kind of a roundabout way to get here, but it's the only way that is.
So there we go. John, I feel for you, man. So Recitador is picking up all the chests in Swamp. I would imagine he's going to do Ice next, unless he gets a Flute, and then it's Mire. And what does John do now that he has the hammer?
Probably Pod.
Well, if he was going to do Pod, it would probably be quicker to just save and quit there. But maybe he's going to do Swamp, and it looks like he is.
All right. So
there is Ice Rod in Swamp. So it's just one more ingredient away from being able to do Turtle Rock and all the juicy chests in there.
Yeah.
Okay, it looks like there's not much else. So it is either maybe Samari and Ice Palace. Behind Hammer, no less.
Or, yeah. Or it could be Samaria on Sarhasala, because it is our green pendant.
Either way, Ice Palace is probably going to be the next thing. But it's kind of like at this point, no matter where you go, there's going to be, no matter which dungeon you go to, as long as you can clear it, there's going to be something good for you there. It's kind of this way for every single dungeon they've checked so far. Pod had boots, Eastern Palace had, was it Moon Pearl? No, it was that was Waterfall. Eastern Palace had nothing, unfortunately. But Desert Hookshot, it's just all these dungeons had just had like one or two really nice items. So you pretty much had to visit everywhere. And I'm guessing Recitador goes to Ice Palace next.
Yeah, it has to be Ice Palace at this point. We've pretty much checked everywhere else in the overworld. Although Recitador does have Hookshot, the rest of the Hookshot Cave area.
Someone did mention something. They asked if Thieves Town Big Chest had been checked, which it has not. But then again,
it doesn't matter.
Thieves Town had nothing in it, so it was only
Thieves
compass
Town
and map left.
Thieves Town had our book, but book was the last of the 4 items. When John was down there, I noticed that he only had the big key. So, Big Chest either has the map or compass, and Blind had the other dungeon item.
Yeah, so that's I guess it's a non-starter there. I was starting to get excited until I remembered at the last second, like, oh no, that's not right. Recitador, where are you going, mister? I am curious.
Well, he could do small flies in the area, but choosing to go elsewhere. Oh, hammer pegs! We have not checked hammer pegs. How could I have forgotten about that?
I believe you actually mentioned earlier, so yeah, it's definitely on the table here.
And if hammer pegs has the flute, that's just really convenient. Can do Moth after activating the flute, and then go to check the Mire area.
There's flute, there's Samaria, there's dust, and maybe dust leads to something. It is nothing. It's just a piece of heart.
So it's ice.
It's gotta be ice. It's gotta be ice. I hope to never hear that when I'm actually running as well, because boy, ice is such a huge hassle. But you know, when John was going through it earlier, he seemed to be doing a good time of it. So I think for these two runners, ice is not going to be not that much of a chore. So, but Recitador, what is he going for now? Oh, I guess he never killed Moth. So he is making his way to kill Moth, exterminate it, and maybe perhaps check pedestal as well.
Yeah, probably the safest bet here. Make absolutely sure it's not a flute on ped situation. Which would be just another relief off of his mind.
Oh yeah, definitely. You always have that just thing in the back of your mind. What if it could be? What if it could be that? I feel like most of my checks in this game are due out of paranoia.
Yeah. The way I see it, Recitador is probably going to skip Hookshot Cave for the time being. And save it for when he has to climb the mountain again to do Turtle Rock.
That is true. He didn't have the option of checking it since he didn't have the hookshot until after he did his Death Mountain Dark World checks.
Wow, a triple kill with 1 slash. The only way that works is because the Giddo hit the spikes. Anyway, here we go.
That's gotta feel good.
Oh, that's gotta feel amazing. And here we go with the Moth fight.
You know, when I think of moths, I think of how much they love spikes.
Yeah.
It's just a natural thing.
And there is the crystal for Recitador.
So Recitador has a nice 5 out of 7. But really, you know, John is not all that far behind, really. You know, he's working on his 4th, and yeah, he's working on his 4th, and Palace of Darkness is got to be on the back of his mind, so shouldn't be that hard to do it.
Alright, Recitador now gets the information that it is a pedestal on pedestal. Both runners now know that this is not a ped seed. This is not an aga seed.
It is the fabled pedestal.
And it looks like Recitador will actually be checking Hookshot Cave. So we'll waste just a little bit of time here, but not too much. I'd actually put Recitador in a very small lead right now, despite this. And I say that because John here still has to go fight Helmasaur King.
Yes, if you were in Recitador's shoes, what would you have done? Would you have gone straight to Ice Palace, or would you have gone to check the Hookshot Cave just in case it was something?
I hate Pendant Ice with a passion, but I would probably check the Ice Palace.
I probably would too. That's 4 potential items, and yeah, it's just with the way the seed is. Every pendant, every dungeon seems to have something in it.
Yes, but more important than that, in terms of the time, I would rather walk up the wet mountain once, knowing I don't have to do anything else, and go through a dungeon once. Then walk up the mountain, check the locations, not being able to do the dungeon up here, just to come back and climb the mountain again. So there is a couple of minutes time loss here that Recitador is having because he's doing it this way. But it's not a bad play. Or at least as far as he's aware.
Arguably, the only bad play would be if you were checking something that you had already checked, which they're not doing that. But
yeah, that only happens when they forget an item.
He's going to quickly find out that there's nothing up here. So, well, it's everyone's least favorite non-go dungeon, Ice Palace.
Yeah, but at least with the hammer, we know that it's either on the right side or it's on Cold Stare himself.
We know that. Unfortunately, Recitador is going to just have to full clear it, and it's not going to be that big of a deal because he has 16 hearts, blue mail, butter sword. I would be interested in knowing if he filled up his bottle with magic, though. That is the only limiting factor which could happen here, his magic.
We'll see you here when he menus. Yes, he does have a blue potion.
Okay, he is more than set to take this dungeon on.
But the question I'm going to ask you now, do you mirror out as soon as you see progression? One way or the other? Or
At this point, I would, because the progression that you get would lead to so much more stuff that, like, you gotta go immediately. And go mode Ice Palace is also pretty quick in case you do have to come back. So yeah, I totally would. Maybe finish up the rest of everything but Cold Stare, but yeah, you leave pretty quickly. It's also 128. You're starting to feel that pressure of, okay, how far is my opponent? It's got to be weighing on your mind at this point, because this is about the time where if you're doing pretty well and you're in a seed that's being nice to you, you're kind of thinking about doing against tower already, but the seed hasn't been. So
I'd personally go for the full clear on Ice Palace on the first trip. And I say that purely because it is a slog of a dungeon to go through. Easily as much time, if not more, than having to climb on, do another lap around the mountain. So just get it done, make sure that anything in here does not lead to go mode, and then proceed onward with what progression you did find. In other words, cover your bases. Make sure this place doesn't have any extra progression.
It's definitely true that the potential costs of say green pendant leading to something would be really nasty.
Well, I remember doing combing a seed once in which the flute was in Turtle Rock, and the medallion required for Quake was also in Turtle Rock, but deeper in, and both runners ended up leaving that medallion behind unknowingly.
That's got to be really unfortunate. John is making progress though, and it's the potential spot for progression is rapidly running out for both players. And it's just on the. I'm not even sure if Recitador had any spots left to check before he came into Ice Palace.
Okay, that's second item here. So any and all progression now lies in either what the third item is or what Cold Stare has on him through the green pendant. Because I think our first two items were both red rupees.
It's just a waiting game at this point, really.
Yeah, a waiting game that both runners are unfortunately playing the long game of.
So I've seen a couple of runners do interesting routes through Ice Palace, especially with that bomb jump in the double freezer room. Have you ever played around with those before, and what are your thoughts on those?
I'd do them if I needed to, but why waste the health when you have to? Don't
What
have
if it's
to.
quicker?
I mean, you're trying to break through the hookshot locks that are potentially in the Ice Palace's key logic. We obviously do not need to do that right now, so there's honestly no point.
Recitador is doing something smart, and I like that, where he leaves that chest for later, because I mean he's gonna have to go back there anyway. I see a number of people will immediately want to check that chest. Oh, there's the big key.
All right, so that is something that John could not get.
And we'll see what this one is.
It's not the third item. And John did check that chest over the spike, so it's either big chest or the item is on Cold Stare.
Mm-hmm.
And at this point, Cold Stare does have an item because he cannot have a key.
Don't they still have one of the dungeon items? Or not dungeon items?
What I'm saying, Cold Stare cannot have a key, so that means Samaria is not required for this. So that means shoot. What am I trying to say? Yeah, so Samaria could be on Cold Stare.
Well, yeah. I mean, Samaria was never required for Ice Palace in the first place. The way the logic of Ice Palace was, it expects you to make this giant loop around it that the Ice Palace bomb jump allows you to skip.
Yes, what I was getting at is in the randomizer logic, if Cold Stare is holding a small key, the item logic expects you to have Samaria to finish Ice Palace.
I was not actually aware of that.
Yeah, it's to weigh down the pressure switch. Alright, so Balmo strats to break Cold Stare out of his icy prison.
John's actually making pretty quick time through Ice Palace himself now that he knows where everything is. But Recitador is going to be making quick work of Cold Stare himself with his better sword and Fire Rod.
And there we go. Cold Stare is down. Cold Stare has our last item. It is
Samaria.
The cane of Samaria. And this green pendant could lead to the flute. So we're not done just yet.
Would you go for Sahasra, or are you going to go straight for Turtle Rock? What would you do?
Sir Hostila first. Leave no chance that I have to climb the mountain a second time. If Sir Hostila has flute, then it's go. Then we only have to make one more trip up the mountain. Turtle Rock into GT.
Now, I would actually play it a little risky and just be like, no, I'm just going to go straight for Turtle Rock. It has the most options, most possibility for flute, for progression, and just go straight for it.
Yeah, I can see that. I personally do not want to get self-trolled, though. I have had numerous runs and miserably, just in self-practice, because I trolled myself.
And it's just a little bit of arrows, arrow upgrade. But John Ross is going to finish Ice Palace pretty quickly, and Recitador makes his way up to Turtle Rock. John is going to be right on his heels, relatively speaking.
Yeah. And we now know that John could have go-moded Ice Palace on his first trip, and that would have saved him a lot of time.
Yeah, but that's hindsight at this point, so I think they make the right call for the situation they were in.
Yeah. Actually, no, what am I saying? They still didn't have the hammer at the time. Whoops! Forgot about that detail.
That's all right. All right, so man, at this point, if John can just manage to out execute Recitador, he can catch up pretty. He can catch up. It is not over by any stretch of the imagination.
Yeah. Now the question is, does Recitador do Turtle Rock in its entirety now, or does he mirror out when he has the flute and go mode the dungeon after getting Mire?
Turtle Rock's a crystal. You gotta complete it.
Oh, yes.
So you need to just you get the flute, then you say, okay, go mode, just complete all of it. You have everything. Just full steam ahead. And you know what? I'm so used to that chest that Recitador just checked having a big key. I was legitimately surprised it was not, that it was a map instead.
Yeah, the big key is actually supposed to be in the lava room in normal play. And JohnRossums has defeated Cold Stare, has the green pennant, but more importantly, has their Cane of Samaria.
He's survived that fight with 1 health, though. Oh, goodness.
Yeah, that's been a theme today, I've noticed. I was watching NMG, and our runners had a couple instances of that. There's a big key, there's a small key, and John is rushing to Turtle Rock, not going to check the green pendant. Has to feel like they're behind now with that hammer being where it was.
Yeah, when you get in situations where you've checked literally everything else, and then you finally find it, you know that you're behind. You don't know where exactly the other opponent is, but you know that you're behind.
Alright, time for the second most dangerous room in the game, the Chain Chomp room. Doing some interesting strats there, bonking the blocks across.
That's actually a really, it was my first time seeing that strat. It was actually really safe and really effective, actually, because you managed to get those chain chomps off to the side, not annoyingly blocking areas where you want them to go. So yeah, that's actually really nice.
Yeah, and didn't have to worry about the desync either, because eventually those chain chomps do desync.
All right, John making his way into Turtle Rock. And we're just really just waiting to see where's this silly thing. I don't think Recitador is aware that you can just, when you have the butter sword, you can just slash. Just slash twice, and I believe that takes care of it. Then again, I wasn't aware of that until someone pointed out to me like a couple of days ago. I was like, oh, really? Oh.
I was thinking that Recitador was trying to hit the Pokey with a double spin, just have it bounce into his sword.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't care which sword I have. I usually fire rod the Pokies because it's just no. I'm not dealing with your ricocheting parts. Just burn.
Yeah, at this point, it's so much nicer when you just set them on fire and forget.
All right. Recitador is opting to check Mimic Cave. Again, leaving no stone unturned. We need that flute for go mode, and it is our last item. Wouldn't it be funny if it was on Trinex this whole time?
Yeah. Well, funny, in a weird sense, not in a ha-ha sort of sense. It's one of those things of, boy, that's... If only I knew.
You're in Mimic Cave? It's the magic powder!
This is going to be a full inventory by the time they're done with this game.
It absolutely is. The powder was the last missing spot for Recitador.
They still have the blue boomerang they're looking for. And if they really wanted to have a full inventory, they'd go kill Aghanim 1, I guess.
And I count just having a full Y menu, a full inventory, so...
Fair enough.
Alright. Roller room. What do you have? Our red mail.
Got fancy new duds in his brother's color.
Fully equipped. Time to go to Trinex and the laser bridge. Taking a safe path around. Still getting tagged on the way out.
Yeah, the only way you can avoid that is if you, opt for using hook shot to use invulnerability frames, or use a cape or Burna. John is making the same play as Recitador, I believe, where he's just check everything. You don't know where it's at. You don't want to take the risk. And we're gonna see how Recitador handles the laser bridge room. He does have mirror shield, so it's gonna be a lot easier than it would be for someone without. Oh, there's the flute.
There's the flute on laser bridge. So that is go mode for Recitador. As soon as that flute is online, he'll be heading. Actually,
Needs a key.
do you head to the witch?
The only thing the witch would have that I'd want would be
A second blue
more
potion?
stuff. Yeah, but he already has one blue potion. He should be good. And I mean, there's always the chance, relatively good chance, of finding half magic in Ganon's tower when you're on the search for the big key. So I would not. I just go straight for Meyer, plow through it as quick as you can, as quick as Meyer allows you to.
Yes. I usually would go for having 2 bottles of blue potion going against tower, because that allows me to play as recklessly as I want.
But you also have to think about it. They have 16 hearts and red mail. There's not much more they need other than just more magic.
Yeah, that's what I'm kind of getting at, is I just basically have it there so I can refill if I need to on the ascent, but I only need 1 potion for Ganon.
Oh, I see.
It's just there as a just in case. They could alternatively combine with their powder and and Ned just get a fairy in that second bottle, and have the revive safety.
The recitador got his, change from killing a giant rock snake, and that's a really nice Trinex fight, actually.
Yes.
And he is on his way towards, well, first to activate the flute, and then to Meyer. And John is not that far behind for where he started, which was actually, I want to say he's gained a number of screens on Recitador, just pure execution alone. So hats off to John for making up that difference.
Yeah. And John did skip getting that second bottle off the laser bridge, so we'll not have that. But folks, it's that time again.
What time is it?
Swag Dive National Anthem.
Is your hand over your heart? Because at this point, it maybe should be.
Yeah, I'm actually saluting, so it doesn't really matter. Alright. Swag Duck's released. 4. Or Recitador. Is it a 2 to use that second bottle? Or is it a 6 to go straight to Meyer? It's 6 to go straight to Meyer.
No time to waste. Let's go.
Yeah. Recitador can just grab an anti-fairy. Just powder an anti-fairy along the way. Just to get that extra thing. Just to get that extra heart safety.
I think Recitador was thinking, should I check Meyer's shed or just go, let's just go straight for it.
And there's Trinex down for JohnRossums.
He is going to be on his way to Kakariko, go activate the flute. And on his way to Meyer as well.
Alright.
Will the gap stay the same? Will it increase, or will it continue to shrink?
Well, I'm interested to see if the new tech actually comes into play.
I would actually imagine that both runners take it relatively safe, unless they've practiced this that Meyer rod glitch. I guess we can call it that.
Yes, and people in chat are probably wondering, what the heck are we talking about? This has actually been a relatively new discovery. Basically, we've found that we can skip the second crystal switch on the way to Vitreous. Using fire rod dashing. There's a whole bunch of people trying different setups for it, trying to find the most optimal Stratos now. But it is significant, and for the purposes of our tournament standards, the no major glitches people have already ruled it as a minor glitch. So it is absolutely allowed for us here in the rando scene. And we have a God Meyer as well, so big key right away, going straight to Meyer. And this is going to be a close race.
Oh goodness, yeah, it's gonna be a lot of execution and, well, guessing on going left or right.
You can skip all the switches? Even better. I only saw a demonstration of it. I have not seen it used in put it to practice myself, rather.
Recitador looking very, very comfortable right now and making short work of just a lot of stuff, really. So yeah, they're both feeling the pressure, I think, at this point.
So I was asking if you can hover between those two bridges. Theoretically you can, but you still need the big key at the end in order to enter Vitreous's room. So, no point two. Now we'll have the big key.
But if you do get the big key on that chest, yeah, you can hover across.
All right, so. Oh yeah, we should talk about this now. There's a game we like to play.
Oh boy, what game is it?
Well, as soon as we see the crystals flourish from Recitador here, I'll get it started here.
Recitador has an excellent marksmanship on that Vitreous fight, by the way. Hats off to him.
Alright, so ladies and gentlemen, we now have all 7 in crystals for Recitador here. And that means it's time to start a game we know all too well. It is time for the big key guessing game. Go ahead and put your guesses here in chat. And if you are a supporter to speed gaming, be it through 250 bits or more, or a subscription, you get the ability to try to be in our leaderboards here for guessing correctly. So get your guesses in chat. There's 1 to 22 chests total. Give us a number. Let's see if you're right.
I'm holding out for 174 personally. It's just the Ganon's Tower never ends. It just continues. How many levels are in this basement?
Alright, folks, make sure to get your guesses in quick. We will be closing it when we see them go downstairs. When we see Recitador go downstairs to the basement of Ganon's Tower.
And John just finished up his Vitreous fight. He's not far behind whatsoever, so it is still anyone's game.
So I'm gonna ask you right now. Oh, Blue. I'm sorry. I'm gonna get your name mixed up here.
Just Teeth is all right.
All right, Teeth. What chest do you want to see the big key in for our runners?
Well, if I'm mean, I would say I don't want them to see it. But it's been a long time since I've ever seen it on the torch, so it'd be a nice treat just to see it there.
On the torch?
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with the Parallax. I want it in Bob's chest. Alright, we're gonna go off Recitador's count here. Any last second guesses in, you better get them in quick.
And John is going up through through Dark Death Mountain instead of going, taking the portal through Turtle Rock.
Our first 2 chests were not anything too important here. Our third item on the torch, small key. You're half right at least.
I'm just a little bit right because it's only a little key.
So Recitador is going full left.
Maybe he's doing the top strat of, half right, then half left, then full right. Mind game.
Chest 4, blue rupee. Chest 5 is another 300 rupees. Chest 6, small key. Chest 7, small key.
Nothing nice just yet. I'm still kind of hoping for half magic, but really they've got everything they could ask for. Red mail, butter, mirror, I guess, if you like it.
Chest 8, just 20 rupees.
Hey, what's your favorite strat for these blocks? For these switches?
Cane strats, actually, because you can set up an interesting little thing involving the block snakes at the end.
The block snakes? What do you mean by the block snake?
The KSMR actually blocks them.
Oh, you mean the these fire snakes here?
Yeah, that's what I meant. I blocked the fire snakes.
For some reason, I was envisioning snakes made out of these blocks.
Alright, chest number 9 is a piece of heart. We're about to hit random room 10, 11, 12, and 13 coming up here, folks. And it looks like John is caught on Recitador's tail.
Oh, John, you still got this, buddy. But Recitador, you're doing a good job too, so it's hard to say.
10 bombs. 11 is the big key.
If you voted 11, you're the big winner.
Yes, we'll see that in just a moment on our end. And people are seeing it, so here we go, folks. The first sub or supporter to guess correctly was Helior in chat. Congratulations, sir. You're going to be put on our leaderboards. And let me go ahead and save those real quick so that you will be there. And there are all the people who have guessed correctly thus far in this tournament. Alpha Channel rocking the top of the leaderboards with 10 current correct guesses.
All right, John making his way to the rando room. The room he's probably not familiar with, being an NMG runner. Oh, we keep seeing that. We keep saying that, but he probably has plenty of rando experience.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's that one room you never go to, and he's going to be getting his nice stack of bombs. Also, half magic.
That was in one of the chests that Recitador decided to skip.
Well, I think Recitador may have more magic, like more magic in bottles, because he has a second bottle. John didn't, but John now has half magic. So if it happens to come down to it.
Yes, but that second bottle from Laser Bridge, I might add, is empty.
True. So it's a bottle of nothing. It's a useless bottle.
Yes. Yeah, half magic makes no real difference at this point. You can be a little bit more aggressive with your magic usage of the tower, but that's about it.
So this has got to be a part of the game that John's going to feel really comfortable with, and it's going to be interesting seeing how smooth his execution can be during this part. I believe his energy time is actually really nice. So
yeah. So here we go with the Lambo 2 fight. Very nice kill on one of them.
Yeah, he gets one of them. He gets the second on the second cycle. And here's hoping for a third on the third. No.
Oh, did it have something in it? I couldn't tell.
No, I was pretty sure it was empty.
We know it didn't have a potion in it at the very least. But it was a B. That I could see why I would miss that. It's kind of a small sprite to look at.
Well, John is opting not to powder that. But he is going for the silver arrows, and he is going to finish up this fight sooner than Recitador did.
Yeah.
Closing the gap just a little more.
The reason why John did not powder the antivirus is that actually the Lambos in that room were actually loading up while you're spending time in the room with the bunny beam. So he was doing that so he could do a 1, 2, 3 with the silver arrows.
It makes perfect sense.
And someone's giving us tracks here. We are within 40 seconds here.
Oh, that gap is closing. This could be a really... This should just come down right at the end.
Yeah, folks. This is going to be a huge race here. Recitador, muscle memory, trying to open those chests for the lulls, realizing, no time. Go, go, go.
I don't need these. I have everything.
Wouldn't be surprised if he takes the fairy elf here.
Yeah, I do. I do the same as well because he was down to nothing. But just a couple rooms behind. Here's John. Here's Johnny. Oh, Recitador barely, almost getting pushed off, but manages to
They're in
hang
the
tight.
same room. This could come down to Aga. This could come down to Ganon. Stay tuned, folks. This is just getting started here. We have a very close race.
John's done a really good job of just catching up through small execution. Recitador's done a great job himself, but it's just small little things he's done to help. All right, 2.
Nice
for
double
Recitador.
there. It's a single. That a
Recitador
single.
getting more damage done on Aga than John.
There
Recitador
goes.
finishing. Okay, he's on to Ganon now.
Yes, with Agatu down, it is now time to fight the pig. With Buttersword, it is 6 slashes a phase. 4 more in phase 3. And then 4 more plus a silver arrow in each one. Straight to the noggin of Ganon for the win.
But
And
here's
John
Here's
is
2.
also down.
John is coming, and he wants it. He wants it. Hey, thanks for dropping in. The first passengers in a hot air balloon were a duck, a sheep, and a rooster. Did you know?
All right. Already into phase 2, looks like. Gonna give some slashes in here. Taking a little bit of damage, but not too much.
He just walked through that first circle of fire and only got hit on the way back.
Oh! Did not do quite enough hits from Recitador. We'll have to do a second cycle here. This could be the opening JohnRossums needs to catch up. And a fall here, a death here, any sort of failure is going to make or break either runner.
Oh, John gets the 1 cycle on the second phase. He's right behind. It looks like it's going to come down to who gets double arrows off.
Doubles or
on
triples?
damage. Doubles or triples.
All right. 4th hit register for Recitador. Does not have the arrows ready. Does get a stun right away.
All right, 2 for Recitador. But John also is at 2.
There's a double!
Oh, Recitador gets it. Recitador gets the double at the very end, and John is right behind.
John's out of silver arrows!
Oh no! Oh, I was not
But
even keeping track of his arrows.
GG to Recitador. First place with an official
GG.
SRTV time of 2 hours, 2 minutes, 38 seconds. John, not too far behind. We will get them both in here for an interview here in just a little bit.
Yeah, GG to both players. Showing some real heart with getting trolled by different items at different times, but coming down to the wire. So
Yes,
hats
and
off to him.
JohnRossums finishing in second of this race with a time of 2:03:01. All right, let's get them both in here for an interview.
Yep, that sounds good to me.
This race came down to literal seconds. It was a 37-second difference in finish.
All right, let's get him in here. Welcome, both you runners, and congratulations. You both did an amazing job.
Yes,
Just want to say it was a pleasure to watch.
this
Thanks.
race was so close, right down to the wire. Both you were missing individual items. Recitador was missing the hook shot. John was missing the hammer, and then it just came down to literal seconds at the Ganon fight. But Recitador, you managed to edge it out. Walk us through the scene, you two. This seemed like it was kind of good and kind of bad at the same time.
This was the go to weird places and be rewarded scene.
Yeah, I can
Yeah.
definitely see that. It was actually kind of funny because at one point in time, Recitador had Hammer, didn't know where Hookshot was going all over the place. John had Hookshot, didn't know where Hammer was going all over the place. And so we're just like,
And they were both in desert onto two different ledges there. Bombos Tablet and, as we know it, Desert Ledge.
Yeah, I thought about jumping down to desert, like when I was right there by the Bombos tablet, but then I got the hammer, so I was like, I'm gonna switch because what if it's boots locked? I'm gonna go the other way, and then I don't know. I just was like, whatever. I'm gonna go up to Catfish because why not? Like this seed's just like that. So. And then I got the bow, and it was like, oh, okay, well, let me just walk back down to Pod and Eastern. And then I got the boots, so yeah.
So yeah.
I'm sorry. For me, yeah, I found the hookshot when I went to desert and I checked Desert Ledge. As soon as I had the book, and the book was on Thieves Town. But before that, I was really glad to jump into, if I recall correctly, was Pod to find the boots, and that was like so awesome for me.
Yes. The main reason why Recitador found the hammer early was actually he went into Thieves Town first before doing the Smith loop, and thus had the ability to combine that with his purple chest check.
if it had been to a point where Recitador had actually, looked at Desert Legend, knew Hookshot was there, it might have been drastically different. But things worked out the way they did, and it was a weird divergence that happened in the middle of the game there.
Now,
Fun to watch them.
Yeah, and something I want to mention here real quick. Recitador, you were questioning opening the last two chests in Random Room. Had you done so, one of those was actually the half magic.
Oh, well, I was not feeling like I was in any kind of position to keep looking for stuff like that. Although when I went upstairs, I had a moment where I almost went towards the chest, and I was like, wait a minute, what am I doing? I don't need anything. I need to get the heck out of here and get going.
Yeah, this race was really good. But yes, Recitador, you are now up to 4-2 in the tournament. One win and one loss away from deciding your fate and going to brackets. Are you nervous?
The 4-2s is a scary list of people, I can tell you that.
Yeah. Are you worried about any one in particular, or are you
any one or any 20?
Any one in particular.
I don't know. I have to see who's in it next week, I guess.
Yeah.
Or next 2 weeks, whatever.
Yeah.
Sorry.
And John, you unfortunately are going to drop the 3-3. Did you at least have fun with the tournament thus far? Are you going to stick around and finish up, see if you can get a positive win-loss?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm gonna finish the 3-3 match, and I mean, this was a really fun tourney. It was really crazy. It's a lot of rounds of Swiss, and then it's a lot of rounds on brackets. So it's kind of long a long tourney. 512 entries is a lot, but I had like so much fun. This race in particular was really crazy. I mean, it was not like just my Aga2 or my one missing arrow. It was like all the seed. I went up and down to every place that I could possibly have, and yeah, it was a lot of fun, and I'm getting all these crazy seeds.
Yeah, so
That was quite the thing. And so we were actually talking about this before the race started. We were both wondering, so what are they going to do with this 2-week break coming up? And we wanted to pose that question to both of you. Now that this race is over, which, I mean, hey, this is pretty early. You have 2 whole weeks to think about it. Are you going to take a break, practice some more, just kind of put it off to the side and say, forget about it? What do you guys think?
Well, I play entrance pretty regularly anyway, so I guess that's really my practice, because every time I actually practice standard, it's a total disaster. So I hate practicing standard. It just never works. It goes so much better when I'm racing.
And for me, I wanted to go back to NMG for a while. I participated in the NMG tourney, and I had like really good times, and I could have much better times. So I want to improve in that area.
All right. Well, any final thoughts on the seed?
It's probably the most strung out seed I've had this tournament. So as far as locations, but it wasn't. I mean, I felt like I was mostly making the right decisions because based on like how the order I was finding stuff in. But I don't know, it wasn't too bad. And I don't know, GG John, good race. Oh, you
Yeah.
came pretty close.
GG to you, recitador. GG.
All right, folks. Once again, GG's to both our runners, and make sure to give them both a follow here on Twitch. They absolutely deserve it. And while you're at it, make sure to also give all of the Speed Gaming family of network, the Speed Gaming Network, a follow as well. We have 6 channels for you, 1 through 6. We also have a link to Pass Randomizer 1 through 4, which we also have some of these races on. And again, while you're following all these people, make sure to give our tracker, your climbing coder, a follow as well. And make sure to also give my co-team here a follow. All of you guys just did an amazing job this seed. All of you.
You're beautiful, everyone. Even the chatters. Let's give all the chatters a follow too. I think that's a good idea.
But yes.
Yeah.
But yes.
All right. I'm pretty happy with everything that happened, and I think this is a good note to end on.
But yeah.
Great having you with us, guys. It was a pleasure commentating, and hope to experience more of this in the future. So.
Yes, absolutely. But don't stay tuned, folks. I don't know what's on the schedule next for Speed Gaming, but there's going to be some sort of tournament going on. I'm sure there'll be something. But from all of us here at A Link to the Past Randomizer, we just see you all next time, and thank you for watching. Good night, everyone.
Good night.